it's Jody here, and I'm back with another review. Today we are reviewing the Kmise Banjolele. So let's get started. The first thing I want to talk about, one of the most striking features of this banjolele is its price. So today is April 30th, 2019, so these are prices relative to today. But you can find all kinds of listings for this banjolele on Amazon in different bundles and packages. So the cheapest I was able to find it today was $85 for just the banjolele. $85. But if you spend $90, they have a bundle where it comes with the case and a tuner for $90. And then the bundle that I bought was $100, and it was case, tuner, extra strings, strap, picks, and a pickup. So I'm going to be reviewing that bundle and those accessories in a separate video, but this video is already going to be long enough just reviewing the banjolele. And also, to be perfectly honest, I have not yet experimented with the pickup. So that's coming, but there you have it. You're going to get this instrument for well under $100 if you just want the instrument. And I will just say very briefly, you can get it for even cheaper than $85 on eBay. However, it's purchase at your own risk, because I did purchase a Kmise on eBay. It came shipped from China. You can check out that unboxing. Maybe I'll put the card up here. And it came just in the ukulele box, no other box around it. It had a hole in it. I was really fortunate that it was not damaged. I don't know how easily it would have been to return if it was damaged. So now I just purchased off of Amazon. I think of paying that a little extra money as insurance, that is going to come sooner and better protected probably. And also if it's an Amazon fulfilled order, you can return it pretty easily, pretty hassle free. So I would recommend Amazon to you as well. So now that we got that out of the way, let's check out this instrument that you get for $85, give or take. So here it is. First look at it. If you did not see my unboxing, this is what it looks like. So let's look at the specs for a moment. This is sapele, a sapele neck and sapele body. Sapele, I did a little bit of research because I was curious. I've heard it linked in with mahogany. I've heard it even called like a different kind of mahogany. It technically is not mahogany, but it's very similar to mahogany. And that's really all we need to know. But I'll tell you a little bit more in case you're curious. It's a little bit heavier than mahogany and a little bit harder than mahogany and just a tiny bit less stable. But very, very close in tone to mahogany, and also inexpensive for whatever reason. It comes from Africa. West Africa, and for whatever reason it's inexpensive to obtain and use. So I'm fine with that, and I think that the tone wood is actually not very important at all in a banjolele. That's just coming from me. I didn't research that, but the sound is coming from the drum head and the strings. This you feel it. It's heavy. I'll put up here the weight because I forgot to weigh it, but it's heavier than a regular ukulele because the wood is pretty thick. We'll get to see that in a moment when we take this back off. So that's not really vibrating very much. It's the drum head and the strings is where we're going to get the sound. So anyway, made from sapele. What else? It's got a walnut fingerboard. Now I don't love walnut fingerboards because they're usually like pale in color, like this bottom half, and I like darker fingerboards, fretboards. However, you can see this one is like two-toned, and I think it's just a variation. Like they started staining it, they stained the top, and then like they got lazy or something. I don't know. The bottom is just not that's what it looks like. Okay, I don't love that. It's not a huge deal. The thing that I dislike more is that the fretboard is really, really dry, and I really don't know how well that's going to come across on video. But it's really, really dry, almost brittle, and so it's not a huge deal. I have this fretboard oil, fingerboard oil that I put on my fretboards when I'm changing strings out, and I'm going to do that. I'm going to give this a nice coating. Yeah, I'm going to do that and give this a nice drink. But because it's so dry, the frets are sharp. They're not super sharp. However, I did cut my finger. First time, cut my finger right on the bend, playing this from the sharp fret. So not fun. It's because the fretboard got so dry. I don't have like a macro lens on my phone. So I don't think I can really show it very well, but I was looking at it up close, and it's like on a lot of them, it's almost looks like the frets themselves are coming up on the edges. And so you can feel that, and it's sharp. Again, that can be fixed, because you can either pay someone to file it or file it yourself, which is what I'm going to do. I purchased a set of files off of Amazon, and I'm going to do that. So maybe I'll do that in a video. I'll take off the strings, and I'll oil the fretboard, and I'll file the frets, and we'll see how well I do. But yeah, so sharp frets. Wah, wah. I don't know what the nut is made out of. It didn't say in the listing, and I don't know. But it's fine. Since we're talking about the nut, the action is good on this instrument. It's pretty low action. I don't know. It seems like banjoleles have a slightly higher action. I don't know if that's true across the board, but it's very playable, comfortable, except for the frets, and the intonation is very good. So let's get that out of the way. Sometimes I forget to mention those. While we're up here, though, let's take a look at the tuners. Sealed chrome tuners, which are fine. They, I will say, when I'm tuning it, it seems like I have to turn it quite a bit before I start to hear a change in the pitch. But it's really smooth to turn, and it's holding its tune pretty well once I get it in tune. So tuners are fine with me. The logo up here is a big fat foil sticker. Like, you can feel it. It's like Braille. Let's get that in focus. So that's the logo. I don't love it. It's not even like a screen print, which I don't love those either. I prefer it to be branded on there or an inlay. But this one's a big bulky sticker. Now, the thing I do like about it is it can be removed. I stuck my fingernail under the top of the E just to see how easily I could pry it loose, and it was pretty easy. And if I were keeping this, I would remove it. I've even seen a YouTuber who removed the MISE, and he left the K, and he slid it over to the center and just had this fancy K at the top, which I thought was kind of cool. So anyway, there we have that. There are tiny little nicks. There's one up here, right here. I don't know if I'm going to be able to show that. Do you see? You can feel it more than you can see it. There's a little nick here. There's a little nick here. And you can't see it. Well, maybe you can. Right here. And one right here. And I mean, that's being picky. I had to really look to see if there were any imperfections. Now, I don't mind little nicks on a ukulele. Little rant coming here your way. Stay tuned. Buckle up, guys. But I just wanted to say I love this instrument. I love the ukulele or the banjolele. And I don't think anyone could argue that. However, I don't think that they should be put up on a pedestal and that you should be afraid to take it with you places and take it outside and play it. And you're afraid to take them out of their case or leave them out of their case for more than a minute. I think the soul of the instrument, it's needs to be played. That's what they're for. And when you play them, you're spreading joy and music into the world. So play your instruments, guys. Don't be afraid. And so to me, when I see a little scratch or nick on an instrument, I think, oh, that's a well-loved uke. Obviously this one, it's not from being overplayed. It's from getting banged in the factory or in shipping or something. But yeah, if you have a little nick on your instrument, don't worry about it. That's what I say. Anyway, okay. So those don't bother me because you can't even see them. They're very small. The fretboard is bound, which is interesting. So you would think it would be smooth, but it's not. But I do like the look of that. While we're over here, you can see it came with one strap button. And again, I'm going to be making a future video about the accessories with the strap, and you can see how you can attach it here and then attach it to one of these, which I think is very important because it's, again, a heavy instrument. You're not going to want to hold this and play this and stand. So if you don't have a strap, I recommend you put it on your leg at a 45-degree angle, and then you play it like that. Okay, so the bridge, it's fine. I can't really say a lot about it. It's doing the job. If you want to see how I installed it, you can check out my unboxing video of this banjolele and see how I installed it. And with my bundle, it came with a plastic clear ruler that showed you exactly where it goes. But if you don't have that ruler, you measure from the nut down to the 12th fret, and whatever that distance is, you measure again from the 12th fret down to here, and that's where the bridge goes. And then you may have to make little adjustments beyond that, but that will get you really darn close. So the bridge is fine. The head, it says polyester head, and that's all I can say about it at this point. When we open it up, I'm going to talk about it a little bit more, but I just want to say it's not a Remo head. And the reason why I'm just saying that, because from here, you might think it is, because they're sneaky and they put that little crown around their brand, Kmise, which is about the same, almost same number of letters as Remo. And from far away, it looks like it could be a Remo head. And Remo banjo heads are really high quality, nice, used on real banjos. And this one's not that, even though it looks like it. We'll talk about that more. My Oscar Schmidt Banjolele right there has a Remo head, and I'm going to be doing a video comparing the two, so we'll talk about that more in that video. Okay, so I'm going to play it first. We're going to have another sound sample, and then we'll open it up and take a look inside. So let me scoot back a little. Okay, so that's what it sounds like. It's loud, and it's got a banjo twang. That's kind of what you need to know about the sound. And again, the intonation is pretty good. It's not super loud though, and part of that is because this back is completely closed. I'm trying really hard not to compare this to my Banjolele, my other one, because that's going to be a whole separate video. But in that one, there's spacers between the back and the sides, which allows it to be louder. This one doesn't have that. It's completely closed, so it's not quite as loud, but it's still loud. I mean, don't get me wrong, but it's not quite as loud. And also, it's weird for me to talk about sustain and resonance for a banjolele. I don't know why, but it's not as resonant. It's got a little bit of a muted sound to me. But that's only because I know what my other one sounds like. I know what I forgot to mention. They claim that it comes with Aquila strings, and maybe it does, but they're not Aquila Naugut strings. Aquila Naugut strings are like solid white. These are like more of a cloudy look. So I don't know. I mean, Aquila has tons of strings, so I don't know. Maybe it's a different kind of string. And I don't know much about what kind of strings would be good on a banjolele. If you are familiar with my channel, I've been experimenting a lot with ukulele strings on traditional ukuleles, but I have not gone down this rabbit hole yet. I will, don't worry. But yeah, so I can't speak too much about the strings on this one. Although I do think Now Good Strings would probably be good because they're gritty and they got a punch to them. I think they might be even better than whatever these are. Okay, so let's open this up and take a look inside, guys. Okay, ta-da, we got the back off. Let's take a look at this instrument. So first, let's look at the back. It's thin. It's kind of wimpy. This is what it looks like. Ah, so pretty. And this is what it looks like on the inside. Of course, it doesn't matter because you don't see this on the inside, but it's a good, kind of a good example of laminate because it's kind of like plywood, and then you've got the pretty veneer on the outside. I did notice, let's get the light catching it the right way. Yeah, right there. See all that? So that's a blemish in the finish. There's a lot of like wood pores you can see, but just in that one area. It's not a huge deal. You don't really see it unless the light catches it in a certain way, but it's a pretty big area and you can feel it. So I just wanted to point that out, that yours could possibly come with something like that. Also, this is like not flat. I could tell it as I was removing the screws, it was starting to like raise on the curl up on the edges. And you can see the little holes where the screws were. See them from the back. They're tiny little holes. They screw into here. Now this is really cool because you really get to see like the inner workings of this instrument. You can see that this sapele body is like looks like three bands of wood kind of pressed together, which is fine except for the fact that it is splitting on like 4 of the 6 holes. So let me get a big one to show you. Yeah. Right here. You see that? Let me get it in focus. You see that split right at the hole? There are 4 of the 6 holes have splits around them. So what I conclude from that is you need to make a decision. Either take the back off, leave it off, or leave it on. I wouldn't feel comfortable messing with it and going back and forth with the screws because those splits could get bigger and then it could stop holding it. So you kind of need to make a choice. In fact, I recorded this before I started my review because I took it off as I was, experimenting with it and testing it out, and I was like, ooh, I don't want to put it back on, start my review, take it off again, and then ultimately put it back on again. I don't want to keep doing that because it's, I don't feel comfortable that in the integrity of those holes. So I do think though if you put it on and left it on, it would be okay. I do, but time will tell, right? Now I also wanted to point out, I thought that I would be able to maybe put in some spacers. If you look at some other banjoleles, like my Oscar Schmidt, they have like little felt spacers. Think of like a felt washer around the screws. And so that leaves this backboard up just a little bit. And that allows the whole instrument to be louder. This one, the screws are so tiny, I couldn't do it with the existing screws. So I would have to get longer screws, and then I would again be a little bit worried about these holes because the longer screws might be a little bit thicker. I don't know. So I'm not going to go into all of that. I'm actually just going to put it on and leave it on. But I do like how the binding is on the body. So it's still pretty, even with that back off. And unless people come this close to your instrument, they're not going to see, that part. So I also wanted to point out there's this bar in here and there's also a bolt, okay? And they give you a tool that fits into this hole and then you can twist the bar either way. And they say that that adjusts the action. I'm not sure how, and but it's nice to know that there's something adjustable in here. You can also adjust, with the same tool on the other side, you can adjust the drum head. So let's talk about the drum head. On this side, it's like textured. On this side, it's it's really smooth. And if you look, let's try and catch the light. Okay. If you look right around the corners of the bridge, it looks like it could be like dimpling a little bit. Like if I were to move the bridge, there would still be like this like dimple in the drum head, which is not desirable. Although I'm not going to be moving the bridge. Why would I? Except for to change the strings. And so I'm not going to go too into detail with the drum head right now. Just except to say it's not a Remo. They're trying to make it look like a Remo. It's not. And the Remo banjo heads are really high quality, and this one is not. But it does still give you the twang. So that's all I can really say about it at this point. It's serviceable, functional, does the job. Not as high of quality. Okay, so I'm going to play it for a moment with it off, and you're just going to have to take my word for it that it's louder. It's louder with this back off, but YouTube compresses videos. I'm not real fancy with my recording equipment. It's really hard to show the difference in volume. That's why I'm not doing a back-to-back comparison anyway, but let's just listen. All right, so that's what it sounds like. It sounds good. So overall, I would recommend this instrument. I think it's a great deal for the price. I think it's a really good value, and it checks a lot of the boxes. It's unique. I mean, it's not like a ukulele. It looks like a little banjo. How adorable! And it's got a different sound. It's got a twangy sound, and it's loud. Now, this is an example, however, of a case where the ignorance is bliss kind of thing. Because if you just got this, never played any other banjoleles, didn't have another one to compare it to back to back, I think you're going to be really happy with this one. However, I do have another one to compare it to, and I'm going to be doing that in a future video, and you will see there are other banjoleles that have more of a classic banjo sound, more of a bite to it, more of a bark, more volume. So just so you know, if that is something you're really, really interested in, the sound is really important to you, and you really want it to sound very much like a banjo as much as you can, you may want to consider adding some more to your budget. But I think for most people, this is going to get the job done. I really do. And especially when you put in the accessories. So that's going to be coming in a future video. I'm going to review the strap that came with it. And remember, it has a strap button. And the pickup. It came with the pickup and the case and the tuner and the extra strings and the pick. So with all of those and the instrument for $100, you can't beat it. I mean, it's a really fantastic value, and I think you'd be really happy with it. So thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you really soon with more banjo